Welcome back to the Crypto Clown World channel. I am your host with the honks, Jason Bruce. I'm going to get honking on in to Bitcoin this morning. Going to add a disclaimer early. Nothing that we say here should be taken or construed as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do yourself your own due diligence and research before getting into any coin project, investment, or trade. Good morning to you all. It is the 4th of December, Monday, 2023, and wow, look at Bitcoin. Just blasted through $40,000, and now we're sitting up in this range right here, actually above a local point of control on the 15-minute, and I was told 42K area was the final stop for this ride, but I'm not 100% sure on that because from what I'm seeing here, Bitcoin has hidden bullish divergence on this 15-minute time frame with the price action consolidating above this POC and now above the critical middle Bollinger Band, also known as the 21 moving average. Stochastics moving into the position of strength here on the 15 minutes. So with that in mind, you know, there are some things to be concerned about, and I was pointing this out just before the flash down, and I really didn't exit any positions before that happened. But you can see here that the buyers are potentially looking a little indecisive on the 1 hour, so we'll want to pay attention to that as price action is pretty far away from that 21/middle Bollinger Band with that high volume node down there around 40,700. If that level were to break, you're looking at levels around just above 40,000, about 40.1 thousand, and then around this base here at this high volume node around 39,450. So those are the levels of interest right now locally if this happens to break down. However, if Bitcoin happens to continue to move bullishly, let's take a look at the 12-hour here. This 12-hour is not indicating that we have exhaustion yet, and this candle is still building green. We just opened that candle under an hour ago, and you can see stochastics are consolidating here in a position of strength, which may indicate that we still have higher targets to potentially achieve. 22-hour position of strength. Flip over to the daily, much the same thing. And something that I'll also note here, I don't think we're quite at resistance yet, so if you connect these last couple highs on the daily, I'll bring the chart into focus here as well. If we connect these last couple highs on the daily, we are coming up to where that resistance might be, so let's heed that as we're, you know, moving through the day here. You know, if we come up here and Bitcoin's not really moving or doing much more, and you know, we open another daily candle and it's just kind of consolidating, well, maybe we hit resistance. So that is there, something to take a look at. But as you zoom out, the RSI is now in an extreme position of strength on the 5-day. Stochastics are just flipping back into a position of strength as well. And really, when you look at the veracity of this move, it is possible that we'll see a more aggressive measurement. Something like that. Oh, and look, that takes us up to that area of confluence that I had already highlighted. That's just north of $54,000. We could wick up there. And you know, there's price history to go into on that, and I'm going to cover that in another video. Eric Crown just covered some of that this morning on his channel too. I've been talking about it ad nauseum on the CR podcast. Shout out to the CR Rhinos, by the way. Make sure you're catching our Friday podcast. Super important. And also, folks, I really, really have to ask you, and I hate to have to do it to even stop the flow of the information, but please hit the like button for me. If you're not subscribed to my channel, if you're new, or if you just haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you're subscribed for me. Hit the bell for notifications so that you can get these videos in a timely manner in the future. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about my analysis, and if you have any questions or any concerns or any gripes about what I'm doing here. So the 5 day is in a position of strength here, as I stated, and the measured move takes you out pretty far, so it doesn't look all bad. Now, something I want to point out as well that is an area of concern somewhat locally with the price action is the CME. And CME is kind of doing the same thing in terms of consolidation with this sort of hidden bullish divergence here. And this hidden bullish divergence on the 15-minute is what's holding the price action up. So both spot Bitcoin and the CME futures are kind of seeing this little bit of a falling broadening wedge here. Okay. So with both of those kind of in a falling wedge and the consolidation on the RSI and the stochastics looking good on the 15-minute, it is possible that this thing moves back up a little bit, but honestly, and it's kind of funny that this thing's sort of looking a little bit like the actual price history of Bitcoin, but there is this price gap down here. So just super important to heed our price gaps with the CME, and that price gap is right around this volume node, right around like 39.4, 39.3. There's some liquidity, and a POC down here around 38.9, 38,950. So those are potentially some areas of interest too. Make sure you're getting hydrated today, folks, if you're not. But this is just a really interesting consolidation on the RSI for me. So I just found the price action on CME really interesting because we gapped up so hard over the weekend in a bullish manner. Now we're consolidating, kind of rounding off a little bit here. And, you know, the oscillators are actually in a position of strength. So with the consolidation kind of above this volume node here, the idea is if you hold this and continue to consolidate, you're going to move up, you know, beyond that. If you lose this area, you're at least going to move down to these next two nodes on futures. And we went over the price action on spot. So I'm going to move over to Ethereum. And Ethereum had a nasty wick down as it was consolidating in this area here. And that actually came down to the confluence of this area that I kind of had mapped out for this little falling wedge that I was looking at the breakout of. So if we look here, we didn't quite hit the target on what would have been that falling wedge. If we took it from here, if we took it from there, we probably hit it. If you took it from there, you hit it almost perfectly. So you had to be aware of where you were taking that measurement from. Sometimes it's a little sketchy in terms of which swing low you take your measured move from in order to get the, you know, the next move to play out on the swing, and that takes time to figure out. If you look at kind of where this is at right now on this retest, this should be pretty bullish because you had this wick come down to a point of control locally and now popping up above this previous formation above the 21 MA, and we're actually on the 7-minute for ETH here, so I'm going to pop out to the 15. You'll see much the same picture, and something that I want you to heed here as well we do have a nice hidden bullish divergence where you'll see this swing down is much higher on the RSI but much lower in price action. This swing down where we wick down higher in the price action but lower on the RSI, creating this divergence confirmed by the stochastics. Okay, so this was a stop loss hunt in my estimation because I did have this potential long mapped out here. I did not take that long, however, because I've been in a swing long, so I did not take a smaller scalp long here. But they did hunt some stops here, in my personal opinion. So that's what I believe I'm seeing for Ethereum here. And I'm going to swing over to the ETH BTC picture because Bitcoin did beat up on the Bitcoin pairs just a little bit with our altcoins, but we are still in this diamond consolidation pattern. And what I'm actually seeing is some hidden bullish divergence here. Okay, and that's playing out right now in this pattern. So I do still believe this is valid. I believe they're just shaking some people out of their altcoin positions. There is a strong candle here right now to heat on the daily. However, with the divergence at this point, I think it's something to heed where, you know, again, you're lower in price action here, higher in price action here. But if you look at this, you do have a slight hidden bullish divergence here, and it's almost microscopic to the point where, you know, you almost want to drill down on the RSI and look at how much more evident that becomes. Okay, so if you're not 100% sure what you're seeing because this might be a little bit weak, you can always drill down, and what that's telling you is this is flagging out. Okay, but you are consolidating below 50 level. So 50 level is key for the ETH BTC pair. See if it can break out of that, and that should correspond to this point of control here. And I am still looking for this 2 volume gap up to the 200 daily moving average, and for ETH to regain some strength. We have gone over the fact that we could actually see Ethereum make a move against BTC where potentially you could see Ethereum worth as much as, I think this is probably out of the question here, so we'll leave that alone for right now. But 1.5 Bitcoin per Ethereum, meaning that ETH flipped BTC by 50% in this run. So that is entirely possible. I'm not saying it has to play out. So I do believe altcoins will continue to hold their position of strength. If you look here, 2-week time frame, ETH BTC so oversold on the stochastics, and we are seeing those divergences come in that we did highlight. So you can see here, massive hidden bullish divergence. Don't bail on your altcoin positions, folks, for people that are telling you that Bitcoin dominance is going to run out of control and all this other stuff. I'll cover Bitcoin dominance here just real briefly. This video is kind of running a little longer than I had planned. But if you look at the Bitcoin dominance here, it's in a flag. You know, could this break out? Yeah. Can it get up to over 100%? No, because this is essentially an oscillator. This is an area that I've drawn in the sand. Actually, I don't believe it's valid for us to get up here. The current move that I had mapped out on this W pattern here, which was kind of a little bit of an Adam and Eve, as we've been seeing in the markets, right? The breakout level of that is up around the golden pocket, just above it. So I'm really looking for the dominance to die out there. It could FOMO up a little bit, but you've got a lot of resistance. There is some volume nodes here that it could potentially take out, but it's impossible for dominance to move out of this larger pattern. And I mean, if I were, you know, to look at this and say, hey, you know, this has to break out to the upside in like a massive way. You know, this looks really bullish from just a pure chart perspective if this wasn't an oscillator. So dominance has to come back down. The altcoins can't bleed forever, and vice versa. It's probably unlikely that dominance comes down into the 20% area. So that's my take here. For what it's worth, another thing that you can note here is that the RSI is actually at an all-time high in terms of Bitcoin dominance, and that tells you that this is an oscillator. Okay, so the likelihood of 73% Bitcoin dominance here, I think, is pretty low, and we should see the market reflect that going forward. So with that, I am Jason Bruce. This is Crypto Clown World. We'll see what the honk happens to Bitcoin here as the day wears on. It looks to be trying to negotiate higher prices here. So thanks for joining me for this morning Bitcoin news update. I'm going to get honking on out of here. I hope you weren't wondering what the F was going on with Bitcoin, because I've got the sauce here for you. Okay? So don't worry, folks. Join me every morning. I'll have these updates for you in a timely manner. Once again, if you didn't hit the like button on your way out, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. We'll be bringing you these videos again in a timely manner soon. Leave me a comment too on your way out. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, folks. Have yourselves a blessed day. This is Crypto Clown World. Again, I am Jason Bruce. Take care. Much love. We'll see you soon.